Welcome back to Relationships at Work, your guide to building workplace connections and avoiding leadership blind spots. I'm your host, Russel Lolacher, a communications and leadership nerd with a couple of very successful decades of experience in both of those areas, and a whole heap of curiosity on how we can make the workplace a better place, just like you. And if you're a leader trying to understand and improve your impact on work culture and the employee experience, well, you have found yourself in the right place. This is one of our weekly mini episodes that drops every Thursday. Just a quick and valuable bit of information to get you all set and ready for the week ahead, help you shift some mindset, maybe think about things a little bit differently. They're all inspired by our Raw Note newsletter, which is a few months, weeks ahead of our Raw Note episodes, but you can certainly catch up by going onto the website, relationshipsatwork.ca, to sign up there. But in the meantime, hang out with us. Because the note I'm passing on to you is, what about the other executive presence? We hear the term executive presence a lot, especially when it comes to an employee trying to move up the corporate ladder, or monkey bars. It depends on your organization and how it works. It's usually defined as, I'm going to do a quick Google definition here, a blend of traits, behaviors, and skills that project a leader's capability to succeed at the highest organizational levels. Okay, I'm not sure I love that one. So I pulled one from MIT. Nice and classy, right? MIT, fancy, bougie. Okay. Executive presence is the combination of personality and character traits that make a dynamic executive. It's the ability to inspire others to be assertive in their roles through the consistent demonstration of confidence and clear leadership. I kind of hate that one too. Now, this is how I've come to understand executive presence by talking to you, my own career experience. Do you know how to communicate and show up in a way that the executive prefers so you can demonstrate your corporate value, get buy-in for new ideas, and try to hopefully get more future authority, opportunity, money from those with the power to grant it? Basically, executive presence is, are you one of us? I'm not faulting the definitions I heard earlier, but I think they missed the mark and a lot of context that would come from defining things like success and leadership, which are very different depending on the organization you work for. And how about that comment about assertiveness? It feels really archaic in a DEI world. The funny thing is that none of this is what I actually thought the term meant when I first heard executive presence. And I actually think my incorrect assumption is actually something that we should take note of. The same as, if not more than, how executive presence is traditionally understood, especially if we as leaders really want to prioritize connection and culture. What if executive presence also meant how executives show up in the workplace for employees, the effort they take to connect with teams, and how those teams perceive those leaders? What if it was about their presence, not ours? I once had an executive ask me what they could do to better understand their culture when the only employees they talked to were their administrative staff. Leave your office. Go say hi to someone who isn't your staff, maybe even a fellow executive. I don't care. Get out of your ivory tower. Be proactive rather than hiding in your office and wondering why the world doesn't come to you. In this case, their presence was actually non-existent to their teams, to their branches, however you want to define the org structure. They just sat in their little silo and were wondering why the world didn't come to them. Executives have such an opportunity to inspire and motivate their teams, but are too often hiding behind the too busy or no one talks to me, as the example I just provided. These are excuses. They're just excuses instead of actually making an impact. We as leaders know we can do better than that. So come with me for a few ideas on how to have the other executive presence. How about walk a floor in the organization that isn't the one our office is on? Have a conversation with a team member at their desk who doesn't report to us, is on a different level than us in the org chart. And we'll get bonus points if the conversation doesn't only include work. How about sending regular corporate-wide emails that have our tone, our personality, rather than being obviously written by somebody else and following a very strict and very boring, very detached, very inaccessible format. Perhaps send messages to business areas to wish them just have a great weekend. And if they actually respond back. Here's another. Take opportunities to connect with staff offsite and let them lead the conversation. Maybe it's an after-work event. Maybe it is a lunchtime event. And if they're not comfortable in leading the conversation, because some people aren't, some people can be very introverted, some people do not like initiating, that's on us as leaders to be curious, ask questions, be really interested in them as human beings. Let's talk about technology for a minute. For our presence, why don't we use more than one channel of communication to connect with our employees? Video, town halls, internal podcasts, Zoom meetings, emails. We need to demonstrate that we understand that different people like to communicate and engage and learn about us differently. We also need to really enjoy engaging with people. People notice when we don't. And we have to look at it as a privilege rather than transactional, clock watching, or something that is expected of us because it's in our performance review. And last, be the face of survey results. Don't avoid feedback, especially if you don't like it or don't agree with it, and own the steps that the organization is taking to address any concerns. I don't know about you, but any leader that shows up and listens and really wants to make change for the benefit of the organization and does it in a way that is relevant, sincere, engaging, that is an executive presence. An executive with no genuine human presence in their organization can lead employees to feel a sense of detachment. There is a downside to this, especially a feeling of detachment from their leader and their organization, and even from the vision, mission, and values of the organization. Executives are the embodiment of those intentions, that vision, that mission, those values. If employees don't feel a connection or relatability to the human behind them, how can they feel a part of any of it or motivated by it? Executive presence can't just be about how possible executives could fit the C-suite mold. It also has to be about how established executives show up and connect with those they are responsible for. So let's take both types of executive presence more seriously. That's it. We're done. That is a mini episode of Relationships at Work, your guide to building workplace connection and avoiding those leadership blind spots. I'm your host, Russel Lolacher. If you've enjoyed this different way of looking at things, I encourage you to go to the website, russellolacher.com, relationshipsatwork.ca. You'll see an ability to sign up to Raw Notes, which again, this episode has been inspired by, and it'll also have some takeaways from our latest guest episode, which drops every Tuesday, and some things you can expect coming from the show in the week ahead. Sound good? Great. Hope to see you there, and take care of yourself.